My girlfriend cheated with her ex and said it wasn't a big deal. Being faithful did not matter. Now she came back and I got back at her in a way she did not expect. 2 years ago, I was a 27-year-old man. I thought I was very lucky. Nadia was a 25-year-old woman. She had dark hair and a great laugh. Her laugh made you forget your worries. She moved in with me after 6 months. Rent costs a lot, and we spent most of our time together anyway. It seemed like a good idea then. The house was mine. My name was on all the papers. But relationships are about sharing, right? She paid for about 30% of the food and power bills. I did not mind, because I make good money as a software engineer. I should have noticed how she talked about her job. She always said her boss was not fair. She said her work friends were jealous. This was a bad sign, but I did not pay attention. Why? Because she looked good and cooked well. This made me not think clearly. I was thinking with my body, not my brain. For about 1.5 years, life was good, very good. She cooked dinner for me when I came home. We watched many shows on Netflix. We went on trips to the mountains on weekends. It was the perfect home life. My married friends were jealous. My single friends thought it was too much. My best friend Billy liked to joke that I had become a home man, but he meant it in a good way. He would say, "Man, you look really happy." Then he would say, "It's sickening." Billy is a big man. He is 6 feet 4 inches tall. He works building things. He is very open about his feelings, like a friendly dog. He is also the most loyal person I know. He always says what he thinks. This makes him good when someone needs to hear the truth. About 3 months ago, things changed. Nothing big, just small things. I thought, that's strange. Nadia started working late more, not every night, but often. I came home, the house was empty. She left Chinese food. She ordered it for herself. I asked about her day. She gave short answers. She said, "Oh, same old stuff." She used to tell me all about work. Now she did not. She also hid her phone. She used to leave it anywhere. Now she put it face down, or she took it to the bathroom. Her phone made sounds late at night, like at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. That was strange. The strangest thing was her smile when she texted. I saw her smile at her phone. She looked very happy, like she won a big prize. I know that is not the most important thing, but when someone stops wanting sex with you, you notice. She used to want sex 2 times a week. Now she acted like I was sick. Every time I tried to have sex, she said no. She said, "I am tired," or "My stomach hurts," or "Can we just hold each other?" The worst part was how she talked to me. She said small, mean things. It hurt a little. I said, "Let's go to this restaurant." She said, "Ugh, that place is boring." I told her about my day at work. She looked at her phone. She said, like I was not there. She also criticized everything I did. She said my clothes were not cool. She said my friends were childish. She said my hobbies were dull. It felt like she was making me feel bad. She wanted to make her own actions seem okay. But I was stupid. I thought it was just a hard time. People get stressed, right? Maybe her job was hard. Maybe she needed time alone. Maybe I wanted too much time with her. Yes, I found out I was not the problem. 3 weeks ago, Nadia came home at 9 p.m. She looked messy. Her hair was not neat. Her makeup was smudged. Her face looked red, like after exercise, but she did not go to the gym. I said, "Hard day at work?" She said, "You have no idea." She went right to the shower. She left her phone on the kitchen table. It was face up. It was not locked. I want to be clear. I do not usually look at someone's phone. That is crazy. I always thought, if you cannot trust your partner, you should not be with them. But my stomach felt bad. Something was wrong. A message popped up on her phone. My stomach felt very bad. The message said, "Danny, next time wear the red thing I like. You looked great tonight." Danny was her old boyfriend from college. She said he was a loser. She said he was not grown up. She said she never talked to him. She said ex-boyfriends cause problems, but she had time to talk to him. I stood and looked at the message. The shower was still running. I had about 10 minutes before she came down. So I looked at her phone. I found 2 months of messages. They read like a bad love story. They texted late at night. They sent photos. The photos were not naked, but they were not good. They planned to meet for coffee. They met when I was at work. The photos were the worst. She took pictures of herself. She wore clothes I never saw. I did not know the places. Some photos were in a bathroom mirror.
"It was not our bathroom," Danny wrote back. He was very happy, like he found something amazing. But the worst part was reading about me. Nadia wrote, "He is so easy to guess. I know what he will say before he says it." Danny wrote, "Still with the boring engineer?" Nadia wrote, "For now, it's hard to explain." Danny wrote, "When will you leave him for a real man?" Nadia wrote, "Soon. I just need to plan how. It's complicated. 2 years of my life." She made it sound like a temporary thing, with an end date, like I was a business deal she needed to end. The shower stopped. 20 minutes later, she came down. She wore a robe. Her hair was in a towel. She looked normal, like she did not just talk about ending our relationship. She said, "Hey, baby," and kissed my cheek. "What is for dinner?" I looked at her. I really looked. I saw a stranger. I said, "We need to talk." Her face got hard. "About what?" I said, "About Danny?" Her face turned white. She looked scared for 1 second. Then she looked normal again. She said, "Danny? What about him?" I said, "You tell me." We looked at each other. It felt like an hour. Finally, she crossed her arms. She looked angry. She said, "I do not know what you think you know, but I know you saw something." I said, "I saw everything." She said, "You looked at my phone? Really? Is that what we are doing now? You cannot look at my private things." This is an old trick. Make the person who got hurt seem bad. Make the person who caught the cheater explain themselves. I asked, "How long have you been having sex with him?" She laughed. She really laughed. She said, "Tony, stop. You are crazy. This is silly." I said, "Answer the question." She said, "I will not do this. You are acting crazy now." I said, "Yes, I am crazy. How long have you lied to me?" She started to talk. I said, "Shut up, Nadia. You are lying now." She said, "Okay, fine. Stop acting like we are serious. We are just dating. Being faithful is not important. So what if I talk to my ex? What will you do? Cry?" That told me everything. So I did not wait. I said, "Good to know. Then pack your things." She said, "What?" I said, "You heard me. Pack your things. We are finished." She looked at me like I spoke a different language. She said, "Are you serious now? Over some dumb texts?" I said, "Over you having sex with your ex and thinking I am dumb enough to believe you didn't." She said, "I never." I said, "Nadia, stop. Just stop." I was very calm. This scared her more than if I yelled. I said, "This is my house. I want you to leave." She yelled, "You cannot just make me leave. This is my house too." I said, "Sure." The next morning, I did not go to work. I drove to my lawyer's office. I wanted to do this the right way. My lawyer is Patricia. She listened to my story. She did not blink. When I finished, she nodded. She looked like she heard this story many times. Patricia said, "By law, she is a renter. She lived there for over a year. She paid for some things. You need to give her official notice." I asked, "How long?" She said, 30 days. Perfect. 30 days. She would be upset. She would see I was serious. I would not give up. I would not believe her tricks. I asked, "What if she will not leave?" Patricia smiled. It was not a nice smile. She said, "Then we call the police." Trust me, I did this for 20 years. Girls who cheat and think they can stay here are not new to me. She explained the process. She sounded happy. She liked to show people they were wrong. Patricia said, "The good thing about this is it cannot fail. She can yell, she can cry, she can threaten, she can try to make a deal. The law is the law. The law says she has 30 days. Patricia wrote the notice that afternoon. It had official paper, it had legal words, it was perfect. I read it. I felt very happy. The paper was very clear. This was not a talk. This was not a discussion. This was an order from the law. I went home before Nadia. I left the notice on the kitchen table. She would see it for sure. Then I called my best friend Billy. Billy said, "Bro, please tell me you are not taking her back." I did not even tell him why I called yet. I said, "No way. I am making her leave." Billy sounded happy. He said, "Dude, I am proud of you." Billy came over that night. He brought drinks. He supported me. We played Xbox. Nadia came home at 8 p.m. She walked into the living room. She held the notice like it was dirty. She yelled, "What is this?" I stopped the game. I said, "Your notice to leave in 30 days. It is easy to understand." She said, "You cannot be serious." I said, "I am very serious." She looked at Billy. She thought he would help her. Billy just waved. He said, "Hey Nadia, I heard you were moving out. Need help packing?" Her face turned red. She said, "This is crazy, Tony. You cannot make me leave over a mistake." I said, "It is not a mistake. You cheated. I caught you. Now you are leaving. It is simple." She said, "I never cheated." Billy made a sound. He said, "Right, and I never peed my pants in 3rd grade. We all lie sometimes." Nadia said, "Shut up, Billy. This is not about you." Billy stood up. He is very big. People notice when he stands up. He said, "Actually, it is about me. Tony is my friend. You are not good to him. That means you are not good to me. So yes, it is about me." Nadia looked at me and Billy. She thought if she could win.
She was smart. She knew she could not. She said, "Fine, but I will not leave in 30 days. I will fight this." I said, "Go ahead, but you will lose, and you will look dumb." She walked upstairs fast. She slammed the bedroom door. Billy and I played our game again. Billy asked, "Do you think she will really fight?" I said, "No, she is too smart for that, but she will make the next 30 days bad for me, just to be mean." I was half right. She did not just make the next week bad, she brought help. Her friend Lana came on day 3. Lana was like a bad helper. Lana is a woman who thinks loud means right. She thinks small problems are big attacks on her. Lana walked into my house. She did not knock. She said loudly, "This is so wrong. You cannot throw Nadia out because you do not trust her." I said from the couch, "I can." I did. She has 27 days left. Lana said, "She lived here for over a year. She has rights." I said, "She has 30 days. That is her right." Lana stood in front of my TV, like she was leading a fight. She said, "You are being mean. This is emotional games." Billy was eating cereal. He started to laugh. He said, "Abusive?" He coughed. He said, "Lady, she was having sex with her ex behind his back." Tony is being nice. He gave her a month. He could have thrown her outside. Nadia yelled from upstairs, "That is just what you say." Billy yelled back, "That is true for sure." The worst thing about Lana was how she helped Nadia feel like a victim. Every talk was about how unfair I was, how hard this was for poor Nadia. Like getting caught cheating happened to her, not like she chose to cheat. Lana would say loud, "Men always do this. They cannot handle when women need things they cannot give." Emotional needs. That is what she called cheating now. For the next few days, it was like living with enemies. Nadia left dirty dishes. She played loud music when I worked. She talked loud on the phone. She said I was being unreasonable. Lana came over every 2 days. She supported Nadia. She told me I was making a big mistake. But the saddest part was how she tried to control me. She used my good towels. She left them wet on the floor. She ate the last of my food. I saved it for lunch. She moved my things, just enough to annoy me, not enough to break them. The worst was when she used sex to get what she wanted. On day 5, she came downstairs. She wore a tiny nightdress. She did not wear it for months. She looked ready to make a deal. She said, "Tony," in her soft voice, "can we talk?" I said, "We are talking." She sat next to me. I could smell her perfume. She said, "I know you are angry. Maybe we can fix this. I miss you." It was sad. I said, 25 days left. I did not look up from my computer. She looked mad. She said, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "No." Then she got very angry. She screamed. She said I was mean. She said I wanted to hurt her. She said she never loved me anyway. That was probably the first true thing she said in months. She yelled, "You know what? Danny was right about you. You are a sad loser. You cannot make a woman happy." The worst thing about Lana was how she tried to make deals for Nadia, like it was business, not like it was what Nadia did. One evening I came home. They were talking in my kitchen. Lana said, "What if she promises to go to a doctor? What if she promises to never talk to Danny again? What if she pays you back for the power bills?" Each idea was more desperate than the last. They really thought if they said the right words, I would forget. I would let Nadia stay. I finally said, "You know what would work? A time machine. If not, she has 21 days left." I came home. They sat at my kitchen table. They planned how to help Nadia, like it was a court case, not like a cheating girlfriend being kicked out of the house of the man she used. One night, I walked in. They were planning. Lana said, "You know why he is doing this, right? He is jealous. Nadia is too good for him." Nadia said, "Yes, he has always felt unsure." I got a drink from the fridge. I leaned on the counter. I said, "You are right. I feel unsure. I feel unsure if you will leave in 30 days, or if I will have to call the police. But do not worry.
I am ready for both." They were quiet for 30 seconds. Nadia started to say, "You are such a..." I said, "Cool, 23 days left." By day 7, I knew she understood. Nadia called places to rent an apartment. Moving out fast is hard. You need money for the first month and a deposit. Who knew? She tried to make me feel guilty. She said, "I cannot believe you are doing this to me. I thought you loved me." That did not work. She tried to make a deal. She said, "What if I promise to never cheat? We can fix this. I will sign a paper about money when we marry." Yes, she really said that. That did not work. She got very angry. She said, "Fine, I do not need your help anyway. Danny said I can stay with him." Yes, there it was, her other plan, right on time. On day 10, I worked at home. I heard a car in my driveway. I looked out the window. I saw a dumb guy in a tall truck. The truck had fake testicles hanging on it. Very classy. Nadia packed for 2 days. She went slow. She wanted me to know this was unfair. But Captain Save Her was here. Danny walked to my door, like he owned the house. He was in his mid-20s. He wore a baseball cap backward. He was the kind of guy who thinks shorts with big pockets are nice clothes. He knocked like he was the police. I opened the door. I knew right away why Nadia said he was not grown up. This was not a man. This was a boy who pretended well. He said, "You, Tony?" He tried to sound scary. I said, "Who wants to know?" He said, "I am Danny. I am here to get my girl." I said, "Your girl?" Like she was a tool he borrowed. I said, "Cool, she is upstairs." He looked at me from head to feet, like he was checking if I was strong. This boy could probably lift 135 pounds on a good day. He thought his tall truck made him a tough guy. He said, "So you were the guy who took care of my girl for 2 years?" I almost laughed. I said, "Took care of? No, man. I paid her bills. You paid for her car rides to your place." His face turned red. He said, "What does that mean?" I said, "It means you can have her back all the time now. I hope you're ready." The good thing about guys like Danny is they talk big. They do nothing. They act tough, but they give up fast if you challenge them. I saw him think. He wondered if he should fight me. He decided no. He said, "Whatever, man." He was nervous. He said, "Nadia is too good for you anyway." I asked, "Then why was she with me for 2 years while she texted you? Seems like you were the backup plan, not me." That hurt him. His tough guy look broke for a second. I saw he felt unsure. This was not confidence. This was desperation. He waited 2 years to be with Nadia again. Now he had his chance. He was scared he would mess up. Nadia came down the stairs. She pulled a suitcase. Lana followed her. Lana carried another bag. Danny said loud, "Ready to go, baby?" He wanted me to hear baby. Nadia said yes. She did not look at me. She said, "Let's go." They walked to the door. Danny could not stop. He tried to act tough one more time. He turned back. He said, "Just so you know, Nadia was never really yours. She always thought about me." I looked at him. I smiled. I said, "If she thought about you when she was with me, why do you think she will not think about someone else when she is with you?" It was quiet. Nadia's mouth opened. Lana looked like she smelled something bad. Danny's brain tried to understand what I said. He finally said, "You, dude." I said, "No, I am good, but thanks for asking." They walked to the truck. I heard them getting ready to say something dramatic. Nadia turned around. She was ready to say something mean, like how I would be sorry, blah, blah, blah. I closed the door. I shut it while she was talking. Through the window, I watched them. They looked confused. They were probably still talking to my door. Billy watched everything from my kitchen window. He clapped slowly. He said, "Bro, that was beautiful." I said, "Thanks." He said, "Hell yes." We hit our bottles together. We celebrated the end of Nadia. Billy said, "You know the best part? What you said to him? That guy will be very scared now." Good, he should be. If she cheats with you, she will cheat on you. I asked, "Do you think they will stay together?" He said, 3 months, maybe 4 if he is very good in bed. We were both wrong. The first week after Nadia left was hard, like stopping a drug I did not know I used.
I wanted to text her small things. I cooked for 2 people by habit.
I expected to hear her pee at 2 a.m. But in week 2, things changed. I came home, the house was quiet. It was exactly like I left it. No dirty dishes in the sink, no makeup on my bathroom counter, no mean notes about the toilet seat. It was great. The quiet was amazing. Not the quiet when someone is mad at you, real peaceful quiet. I could watch anything on TV, no arguing. I could eat cereal for dinner, no one judged me. I could leave my socks on the floor for a day, no big fight. I changed the locks on day 12. I painted the bedroom. It was her silly purple wall. I painted it normal beige. I bought new sheets. The old sheets smelled like her perfume and her cheating. Billy came over. He helped me move the furniture. I put it where I wanted, not where Nadia wanted for room energy or whatever she liked. Billy said, "Dude, your place looks like yours again." He opened a soda. He said, "No more weird cat pillows." I said, "Those were for decoration." He said, "They were bad for men." The best part was finding my own routine again. I forgot how much I liked my morning coffee. I did not have to rush for someone else's time. I forgot how good it felt to make food for the week. I did not have to think about someone else's random food wants. I forgot how peaceful it was to read a book. No one said my hobbies were boring. In month 2, I went to the gym again, not the couples yoga Nadia made me do. In that class, I pretended to feel peaceful for an hour. I was with moms in tight pants. I did real workouts, heavy weights, the kind that made my muscles hurt, but I felt good, not confused about why I paid $30 to stretch. I could lift 20 more pounds in 6 weeks. I learned, if you are not stressed about relationship problems, you can focus on your goals. In week 6, I heard gossip. Friends who were careful about the breakup now talked. They told me what they heard. Jessica was the first to tell me. I saw her at the store. We talked small, then she told me big news. She said, "So, heard about Nadia and Danny?" I said, "What about them?" She said, "He kicked her out after 3 weeks. She told him she was pregnant. He disappeared. He changed his phone number, everything." I looked at avocados. I kept my face normal. I said, "Rough. Hope it gets better." Jessica said, "She tried to stay with different friends, but you know Nadia. She stayed too long. People got tired of her fast. Last I heard, she lives with her mom again." I thought about Nadia. She had to tell her mom why she was 25 and moving back to her old room. It was sad, but it also felt good. Then Billy told me more. Billy loves drama like a teenage girl. One night we ate chicken wings. He said, "Bro, you will not believe this. Remember Lana, Nadia's crazy friend who defended her? Well, Nadia tried to stay with Lana after Danny kicked her out. Lana let her stay for 4 days. Then Lana kicked her out too. Why? Nadia ate all her food. Nadia never cleaned up. Shocking." Billy said, "But wait, there is more. Nadia sends messages to random guys on Instagram. She wants someone to take care of her and the baby. She messages guys from high school. She asks if they want to talk again." I thought about Nadia. She looked through her phone contacts. She looked for her next person to pay for her. It was sad, but it also felt good. Not because I wanted her to hurt, but because what goes around comes around. I asked, "Do you think the baby is real?" Billy said, 50-50 chance. Either she is pregnant and uses it to trap a man, or she lies about being pregnant and uses it to trap a man. Either way, she is in trouble. 3 months after Nadia left, I met Caddy. I was at a coffee shop downtown. She sat in the corner. Her laptop was open. She looked like she was writing hard computer code or planning the perfect murder. She had focused energy. It was attractive right away, like she really had her life together, not just pretending. The place was full of people. I asked if I could sit at her table. She looked up. She had amazing green eyes. She said, "Sure, but warning, I am fixing computer code. My thoughts are mostly bad words right now. You should know, I am a software engineer." We talked for 3 hours. She was smart. She was funny. She said exactly what she meant. She did not make me guess secret messages. It was nice. I said I was just out of a long relationship. She did not ask questions. She did not want details. She said, "Good. New beginnings are not valued enough." That was all. No 20 questions about my ex, no asking why it ended, no comparing me to others. Just acceptance. Moving on. The difference from Nadia was huge. With Nadia, every talk felt like walking through a field of bombs. You never knew what would set her off. You never knew what she really meant. With Caddy, talking was easy. She said something funny, I laughed for real. She asked about my work, she listened to my answer, she did not wait for her turn to talk. We started to spend time together often. Coffee dates became dinner dates. Dinner dates became weekend hiking trips. She walked faster than me on the trails. She joked about my city boy exercise. She had her own apartment, her own car, her own life. The best part? Caddy really liked the things I liked. She suggested science fiction movies I wanted to see. She knew more about special beer than I did. She could debate if Star Wars or Star Trek was better. She was wrong about Star Trek, but I could accept that. 4 months after Nadia, I realized something. I had not thought about my ex in weeks. Not in an angry way, not in a missing her way, just not at all. It was like my brain got new software. It deleted all the bad files. One night I told Billy, "You know what is weird? I keep waiting to miss her, but I do not." He said, "That is not weird. That is growing up. You finally know the difference. Loving a real person or loving the idea of a person." He was right. I loved a Nadia that was not real. I loved the Nadia I imagined. The Nadia who was happy I was faithful, not the Nadia who took it for granted. The Nadia who thought my steady life was good, not the Nadia who thought it was boring. The Nadia who wanted to build a life with me, not the Nadia who just used my life until something better came. That Nadia was not real, and I was okay with that. 6 months after the big eviction, our friend Tyler got married. I knew him since college. I could not miss his wedding. Also, Caddy looked amazing. She wore a green dress she picked out. I wanted to take her with me. The wedding was beautiful. It was outside. The weather was perfect. It looked like a picture from a website. It made you believe in love again. Caddy and I sat in the back. We held hands. Tyler promised to love and care for someone who deserved it. During the promises, Caddy whispered, "Do you think that will be us someday?" I whispered back, "If you are good." She squeezed my hand. She smiled. For a moment, I forgot. Weddings can be hard for people with past relationship problems. The party was going strong. I saw her. Nadia sat at a corner table. She wore a black dress. The dress tried to hide her baby bump, but you could see it. She looked tired. She looked older. Like the last 6 months made her age fast. Her hair was shorter. Her face was thinner. She kept touching her purse. She looked nervous. The baby was real. You could see it clearly. No way to hide it. That explained the loose dress, and why she kept moving in her chair. She looked uncomfortable. Caddy asked, "Is that her?" I showed her. Caddy looked at Nadia. Caddy said, "Oh, that is her, huh?" I expected more. More what? I don't know. More of something. But Caddy just said Nadia looked sad. Sad was the right word. Nadia looked like someone who made many very bad choices. She was just now seeing the results. The confident woman who cheated on me was gone. The woman who demanded to stay in my house was gone. Instead, there was a woman who looked beaten. Nadia saw me during the best man speech. Our eyes met across the room. I watched her face. She looked surprised, then hopeful, then determined. Not good signs. I avoided her most of the night. I kept Caddy dancing. I stayed near the bar. Billy talked with Tyler's groomsmen. I treated Nadia like a bomb. I had to walk around her carefully. But during the cake cutting, Caddy went to the bathroom. I went outside for air. Nadia came to talk to me. She said, "Tony?" I turned around. She stood by the garden entrance. She looked like she got ready for an hour. I said, "Nadia, I did not expect to see you here." She said, "Tyler invited me. We still talk." She moved closer. I saw desperation in her eyes. She said, "You look good, really good." I said, "Thanks." She said, "I have been thinking about you, about us. I know I messed up, but..." I said, "Nadia, stop. There is no us." She said, "Please, let me say this." Her voice broke. She said, "I made the biggest mistake of my life. Danny was nothing, just a dumb dream I thought I wanted. Now I am pregnant. It is not Danny's baby. I know it sounds strange, but you were real. You were good to me. I know I threw everything away, but we can start over. With the baby." I looked at her. She stood there, pregnant, begging me for another chance. I was the man she cheated on. 6 months ago, this talk would have hurt me badly. Now it felt like watching a movie I saw before. I said, "I am sorry things did not work out for you." She said, "They could work out for both of us. I know it is hard, but we can make it work." I said, "Nadia, are you serious?" She said, "Yes, I am. We loved each other once. We can love each other again." Her belief was amazing. She really thought the baby made everything new. She thought her neediness made 2 months of cheating and lies disappear. Then Caddy appeared next to me.
She put her arm through mine, like she belonged there, and she did. Caddy said, "Hey baby." She kissed my cheek quickly. She said, "Is everything okay?" Nadia's face turned white, then red, then a color I never saw before. She looked Caddy up and down. Caddy had perfect hair, a fancy dress, easy confidence, like she never had to beg for anything. Caddy said nicely, "You must be Nadia. I heard a lot about you." Nadia's voice got high and sharp. She said, "Who the hell are you?" Caddy said, "I am Caddy, Tony's girlfriend." Nadia said, "Girlfriend?" She looked at me and Caddy, like we said the world was flat. She asked, "How long?" I said, 4 months. Nadia said, 4 months? You found someone new in 4 months? I said, "I moved on the day I caught you cheating." Nadia lost control completely. She said, "This is unbelievable, so unbelievable. I am having a baby, my life is a mess, and you are playing house with some, Caddy said. Her voice was still nice, but it was sharp. She said, "Be careful." Nadia talked louder. She said, "You do not even know him. You do not know what he is really like. He is boring and easy to guess." Caddy interrupted. She said, "Yeah, boring and easy to guess? Sounds terrible. I love him like that." The difference was harsh. Nadia was desperate and messy. She begged for pieces of a relationship she broke. Caddy was calm and confident. She defended what she had. It was like watching someone's past and future stand next to each other. Other guests noticed the noise. Tyler's new wife looked over. She looked worried. She probably wondered if she needed to call security. Then Billy appeared. He came from nowhere. He carried 2 glasses of champagne. He looked very innocent. He said, "Nadia, is that you?" He walked toward her. He opened his arms like he wanted a hug. He said, "Look at you glowing." Nadia stepped back. She did not think. Billy said, "Billy, man, pregnancy looks good on you. You look—" He stopped. He tilted his head. He looked like he was thinking. He said, "Exactly like someone who got exactly what they deserved." Then Billy tripped a little. It looked like an accident, but it was on purpose. He spilled champagne all down Nadia's dress. He said loudly, "Oh, I am bad." He said, "Here, let me help you clean that." He started to wipe her dress with a napkin. He made the stain worse. He said sorry many times. Nadia had to let him help. She stood there. Her dress was wet with champagne. Her makeup ran down her face. Her dignity was gone. Nadia said through her teeth, "It is fine." She tried to keep some dignity. Billy said, No, I insist." He kept wiping. He made the stain worse each time. He said, "Tony, do you have club soda? This is a disaster." Caddy took my arm. She said, "Tony, want to get some air?" We walked away. Billy kept acting. He pretended to help Nadia clean champagne from her black dress. He deserved an award for acting. Behind us, I heard Nadia's voice. It got higher. It sounded more desperate, but I could not hear the words. The music and laughing of happy people covered it. When we were far away, Caddy said, "Your friend is evil." I said, "Billy is a treasure." We spent the rest of the night dancing. We laughed with friends. We celebrated Tyler's happiness. Nadia left early. She probably went home to change her wet dress and to face her broken hopes. I never saw her again after that night.